Hello my loves and welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, the place where whispers turn into headlines and every heartbeat of the Turkish star scene finds its echo. If you're tuning in for the first time, pull up a chair and settle in, because today's scoop has the entire industry talking and fans trembling with anticipation. Take a deep breath, because what I'm about to lay out isn't just news. It's the twist we never knew we were waiting for. The one that reaches right into the past we all remember and shakes up the present we can't stop watching. You saw the title. You felt the tremor online. And yes, I can confirm that the murmurs surrounding Çağatay Ulusoy and Hazal Kaya have surged into something bigger, louder, and impossibly intriguing. The date stamped on everyone's mind is January 18, 2026. That's when the rumor wave crested and came crashing down. The suggestion that these two icons, whose chemistry once defined an era, have been quietly working on a joint project. And not just any project, my friends. The kind of project that doesn't hide behind a script, that doesn't tuck away feelings in the subtext, that dares to open doors we all assumed had been locked and bolted years ago. For those who joined the fandom late, let me set the scene. There was a time when every glance between Çağatay and Hazal on set felt like a promise, every red carpet photo like a page torn from a modern fairy tale. Many of us followed their journey breath by breath, frame by frame, convinced that what we saw on screen was only a hint of what pulsed beyond the cameras. And then came the quiet distance, careers taking different turns, separate horizons forming. For so many fans, it felt like the closing of a book that had never truly been finished. Was there a breakup? Was there a chapter lost to time? Was it all simply the pressure cooker of fame turning private moments into public storms? We learned to ask the questions but stopped expecting the answers. Until now. What's spreading, careful, calm, but relentless, are whispers that the two have been meeting in absolute secrecy for months. Not for a standard drama, not for a glossy reunion designed to tick off nostalgic cravings. We're hearing talk of something more intimate, more exposed. Imagine this, a docu-style project, biographical in spirit, reflective in tone, where the voices belong to them and the memories, good and complicated alike, are theirs to unveil. A chronicle of beginnings, of dizzying success, of how they carried a national spotlight while learning how to be themselves beneath its burn. A conversation, perhaps, with the ghosts of what might have been and the truths of what actually was. The core of the buzz is this, initial leaks from sources orbiting close. People who've touched the production notes, who've seen the blocked-out schedules, say they've sat in rooms together, pored over old footage, and tested the delicacy of talking in the first person about that meteor streak of a moment when they were Turkey's most beloved duo. Not a scripted retelling, but something more like an open window. You can picture it, can't you? The chairs set opposite each other, the soft lights catching familiar profiles, the air thick with the things they never said publicly when the world was roaring for more. Some say the idea is to reclaim their narrative. To take all of the messy, beautiful, uncontrollable noise that swirled around them and turn it into a story shaped by their own hands. Others see a brilliant strategic move. Two titans aligning to reveal unguarded sides of themselves in an age that rewards candor with renewed adoration. In this streaming moment, when the biggest stars are becoming the authors of their own legend, it would make perfect sense for them to do the same. And yet, this is not just branding. For anyone who remembers, it's personal. Because nothing about their energy together ever felt like a costume. And yes, there's the question burning at the center of it all. What does this mean for them now? Is this a professional rapprochement, the sealing of old rooms and the filing of old letters into the archive of lessons learned? Or does the act of telling the story stir embers the public has never stopped hoping to see reignite? Social media is on fire with speculation, a chorus that moves from hopeful to cautious in a single scroll. Even those who take a measured view have had to admit. Stepping into a project this exposed suggests trust, a rare and fragile commodity once it's been tempered in the furnace of fame. Let's talk format, because that's the hazy part. Nothing official has been declared. No platform announced, no poster teased. The whispers shapeshift by the hour. One version says a limited series format, each episode tracing a different theme: fame's first shockwave, the maddening rhythms of co-stardom, the battle between private truth and public myth. Another claims a feature-length documentary, intimate in scope, built around extended interviews and previously unseen material. The boldest rumor suggests a hybrid, part memoir, part behind the scenes, part confession booth, produced under a title that leans into fate and crossroads and second chances. What seems solid is the intention. The wish to treat the past not as scandal, not as tabloid fodder, but as a human story. A pair of artists in their 20s learning how to protect themselves while giving themselves away to a country that loved them and watched them and, sometimes, tried to write their lines for them. There's poetic symmetry in it, isn't there? To return to the beginning, not to relive it, but to understand it with the tools and distance and tenderness gained over years. Picture them revisiting the set memories that became legends. They might walk us through first meetings, the rush of their casting announcements, the breathless way fans latched onto every echo of their scenes together. They could talk about the strangeness of waking up to find a nation stitching dreams onto your names, the pressure of applause that never quite lets you rest, and the equally heavy weight of rumors that travel faster than truth. Perhaps they'll pull back the curtain on milestones we only saw from afar. Wrap parties, birthdays squeezed between call times, flights that landed at dawn and laughter that felt stolen from chaos. Now, the emotional fulcrum, the separation. The change we all felt but never fully grasped. If what's being crafted is as honest as the whispers suggest, we may finally hear their versions of those weeks and months when paths diverged and voices fell silent. Not to stir old wounds, but to show the anatomy of distance, the slow, quiet way lives evolve. There is a world of difference between assigning blame and telling the truth. If they manage the latter, it could be the clearest light they've ever shone on their shared story. Make no mistake, this is as risky as it is thrilling. But if there are two artists poised to carry the weight of that risk, it's these two, both of whom have grown into finely tuned storytellers. Hazal, with her unflinching instincts and the resilient grace she brings to complex roles. Kagate, with his intense focus and evolving craft, always surprising, always a step ahead of the expectations people place around him. Together, they hold the rare power to make vulnerability feel not like a fall, but like a resurrection. The timing matters. Announcements like this don't drift into the world by accident. January 18, 2026, marked, subtle, but deliberate, has triggered the kind of discussion that spills far beyond fan forums. Industry watchers are running their numbers, threads are stretching into the night, and headlines are asking the same tantalizing question in a dozen different ways. Is this just about art, or is it about closure, renewal, and the soft, complicated territory in between? Reactions have been a prism of emotions. Many fans are jubilant, feeling that this project, whatever its precise shape, is a gift, an open hand extended to those who held their breath through the highs and the hush. Some people are cautious, reminding themselves that the only measure worth keeping is the integrity of what arrives on screen. And, naturally, there are dreamers who can't help reading this as a prelude to something deeper, something that dares to bridge past and present. Everyone is watching. Everyone is waiting. And that, in itself, is a testament to the spell these two still cast. Of course, there's an important caveat. Until there's an official statement. Until either their teams or the stars themselves speak, we remain in the realm of carefully sourced possibility. But when separate channels, close to production circles and familiar with the rhythms of their schedules, echo the same details, it's hard to dismiss. At the very least, we can say this: momentum is real. The air is live with it. Think for a moment about what this might mean for their careers today. For Hazal, the project could reveal a dimension that even her most ardent followers haven't fully seen: the private thinker behind the fierce characters, the woman who has navigated fame's intricacies with a steady hand and a sharp mind. For Kagate, it could be a new chapter in authorship, no longer just embodying a role, but authoring the narrative of a moment that formed him as an artist and as a person. If they step into this with honesty, the result could reverberate far beyond nostalgia. redefining them in a landscape that prizes the real. Let's not ignore the cultural side of this either. We're in a period where celebrities are refusing to be mere subjects of speculation. They are seizing the mic, building their own platforms, and turning the camera around. If this project exists as described, it says something about trust in each other, in their audience, and in their ability to hold a mirror up without flinching. It also says something about generosity. To tell a story like this is to share a part of yourself you once guarded fiercely. That's no small thing. And if you listen closely to the storm online, you can hear the specific questions rising. How did they bear the pressure of being the country's favorite pairing? What private rituals kept them grounded when every step outside became a public event? Which moments were their brightest, and which ones cut deep? What did they learn from the distance, from the shock of separate paths, from the silence that followed the noise? Perhaps most crucially, when they look back now, with the altitude of years, what do they see with new clarity? We're hearing that the working title is deliberately evocative, a nod to roads that meet and drift and meet again, a quiet wink to fate. Maybe it will be revealed at the very last moment, a final press of the pulse before the first teaser drops. Maybe we'll have to sound it out on our own before it becomes official. Either way, it's the substance that matters. It always has. Until we have those confirmations, what we do have is a vivid picture painted by those in the know. An editing room with late-night coffee and warm lamplight. A small crew sworn to secrecy. Notes written and rewritten until they no longer sting. Candid footage that captures laughter not meant for public eyes, tears that arrived without warning, moments that once only belonged to them. You can almost feel the hush in that space, the careful breath before a truth becomes story. To my dear community here at Turkish Spotlight Secrets, you know we tread with care. We honor the people inside the headlines. We also celebrate the courage it takes to step into a narrative this fraught and make art from it. If this collaboration reaches us, I believe it will do so with the grace of two professionals who have spent years becoming more than anyone's expectations. And if it doesn't, the conversation it sparked still shows how hungry we are not for scandal, but for understanding. So here we are, perched on the edge of a question that becomes more compelling by the hour. A joint project. A potential documentary or biographical series. A reunion that may be professional, may be healing, may be both. A date, January 18, 2026, anchoring a tide of speculation that hasn't stopped rising. Whatever awaits, one thing is certain, the moment they share their voices in unison, the noise will fall away, and we'll be left with something simple, beautiful, and human. I want to hear everything you're thinking. What do you hope they'll address? Which memories would you revisit with them? Do you feel this is the closure fans deserved, the renaissance nobody predicted, or a brave gesture that stands on its own terms? Fill the comments with your heart and your honesty, you know I'll be right there reading along, reply by reply. And if you're as captivated by this unfolding as I am, make sure you're subscribed to Turkish Spotlight Secrets and that your notifications are on. The second a statement drops, the minute a teaser appears, we'll be here, breathless and ready, with the breakdown. Share this with the friends who never forgot the electricity of their scenes, with the ones who still mouth the lines by heart, with the ones who know what it means to carry a story for years and finally set it free. As we close today, remember this: some stories don't end, they evolve. They step out of the glow, they gather wisdom, and one day, when the time is right, they return with the quiet thunder of truth. If that's what is coming from Hazal Kaya and Kagate Yulasoy, then we are about to witness not just a project, but a moment. A bridge between what we felt then and what we understand now. And I, for one, cannot wait to cross it with you. Thank you for spending your time with me here, for trusting me with the whispers and the wonders. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your ears to the ground, and your hearts open. This is Turkish Spotlight Secrets, signing off for now, until the next beat of the story finds us, and we press play together once more. And yes, one last word to the faithful: if this truly is the collaboration we think it is, it won't be about rekindling gossip for gossip's sake. It will be about perspective, about hearing two voices that once moved in perfect harmony find a new cadence. Maybe the song will be familiar. Maybe it will be brand new. Either way, when it begins, we'll listen, we'll feel, and we'll remember why we fell in love with their light in the first place. Stay close. Stay curious. And stay ready.